Welcome to the future. Welcome to Bitcoin. Bit2Mers, good afternoon to everyone. This September 30th, 2024. How September has flown by, it's spectacular. Just a little while ago, we were on vacation at the beach. We came back and this month has truly been something intense. We hope your return to the course is enjoyable and you are enjoying all your activities. Nothing. I want to thank you for being here in the live stream and for greeting in the chat. As always, we have Giovanny with us.
How are you, Giovanny? How are you? Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Javi.
Good afternoon, Javi. How are you?
To the victims, it really is amazing to be back here with everyone. We have, to be honest, practically taken an active pause because we haven't stopped with the events. In fact, stay until the end because we have a surprise. There is one pending invitation as well, 2009. We are going to talk about it because we have not only moved from these monthly meetings but also to holding them in person. That said, welcome to Javier Cueva, Luis Paulen, Pedro, JC, and each only, with whom we even had the opportunity to meet. So welcome and thank you very much for the ongoing support.
Hey, just to mention it in passing, Giovanny, for many who are seeing us for the first time, know that we are in the Telegram group. Some of you are already following us there, where Giovanny is super active, doing a fantastic job, and the whole community that is supporting us in answering questions and inquiries from so many people in that group. We also share a bit of the news there. And you give us feedback, although you already know that you have the feedback tool that you can use.
If it seems good to you, Giovanny, I will start by saying, before you move on to the next, Javi, a thank you to the passengers, who are the community ambassadors, and to the moderators, who are constantly supporting each other to provide answers and prevent them from being deceived, because we already know they are very cautious in that regard. Always use the official communication channels.
Give it to James. Totally.
And then, well, if someone writes to us or pretends to be us, even the comments on the videos provide direct contact, so be careful to always verify it and avoid falling into those kinds of traps. There are always people looking for ways to scam others, and we need to be cautious. That's why we have the team, the official channels, and so on. That said, Giovanny, a lot of things are happening. Do you already know that I like to always start with a little intro about our dear friend Bitcoin, about what is happening in the ecosystem, and especially this month of September, which I believe has had, well, a series of important issues to highlight for the future of everything that Bitcoin represents, especially from the more traditional side, which is very important for all of you here who are also wondering, hey, when is this going to start going up?
Where are you going to go?
And what about this kind of issue? What things have happened, or what can we highlight? Well, mainly the approval. You know that in January, the famous ETFs were approved, which is that product, that vehicle that allows large assets to have direct exposure to the asset. These funds, BlackRock and Fidelity, which manage so much money from third parties, ultimately buy Bitcoin on the spot, which means actual physical Bitcoin. Well, it seems to me that BlackRock, the last figure I saw, had already bought 350,000 and Fidelity about 175,001.
Barbarity.
But this month, they approved the SEC last week, a product regarding those BlackRock ETFs.
What product?
To make ourselves clear, it is called options. Options are basically a product that reduces volatility, which often makes this type of investor a bit uneasy because they think, damn, for me, the fact that it could drop 80% at a certain moment is concerning. If it rises and they have it, it's fantastic that it goes up 101%, 200%, or even 500%. But for them, it is important to have a tool that minimizes the risk of volatility, and that is the approval of options, specifically a BIP, which is the ticker, the label that BlackRock's fund has. So, what does that allow them to do? Well, it allows them to place put and call orders for 3 months, or a year. In other words, they can buy positions that do not obligate them to buy at a price or sell at a price, and that reduces volatility. And why does that matter to us? Because what this will do is further increase the liquidity that will enter the market, and this, if we look at gold or other types of assets, has always been tremendously positive and favorable for the development of the market and the business around, in this case, Bitcoin. As you know, the Ethereum ETFs have also been approved, but this tool has not yet been approved, and the Ethereum ETFs are not doing so well. I'm not going to give much support to Ethereum because, you see, there was a debate this weekend at an event that we will discuss later from Watch Out Bitcoin, where they debated proof of stake and proof of work. The truth is, it was very interesting, and what Jesus Perez and others on the panel said is that in the end, we are all in the same boat for decentralization. But it is true that those of us who believe in Bitcoin have that flag. above all other cryptocurrencies. One more thing that has happened, which I think is also important to highlight, is the topic of the SEC approval, which is the US regulator. As you know, for a traditional bank, in this case BN, which is BNY Mellon, to give you an idea, it is the oldest bank in New York, founded in the late 17th century, around 1780. Well, this gigantic bank is going to start being able to custody Bitcoin directly from its clients, which means we are also seeing an interest from traditional companies and bank funds to have direct exposure and work with this asset. That's also very good news for those of you who are, well, into medium-term Bitcoin compositions. And sometimes Giovanny tells me, damn, Javi, you always talk about Bitcoin and there are people who might have other cryptocurrencies and enjoy listening. I share this with you because I believe it is the most relevant thing happening right now. It is true that there is development and many cryptocurrencies. We, in fact, the Launchpad, which we will discuss, have just listed a new project and we are continuing to work on that. And that is why we have more than 250. But I do believe that the things happening to Bitcoin and to the world of crypto assets in general are historic. And to finish, if you want, Jose, let's bring up the table we were discussing earlier, which I think is quite illustrative of where we currently stand in the market. And basically, if you have it on screen, let me know. I believe you do. This table shows that on the left side, in the left column, you have all the years, okay? Since 2013, year by year in rows, what has been the behavior of the columns, which basically the top part shows the months, whether it has been positive or negative. Well, the green squares clearly represent months in which the price has behaved positively, and the red ones indicate negative behavior. So if we go to, as you can see in the upper right corner, there are 3 small black dots. These 3 black dots refer to the 2024 row, which is this year. And if you notice, we are closing the month of September 30th today, and we are experiencing an increase of approximately 9%. Historically, we had a behavior that was not very positive at first. We have had 14 years, and out of those 14 years, 9 have been in the red, 8 have been in the red, and the ones that have been in the green have not been very strong. But look at what to focus on next month. Now, this is not investment advice. We always make the disclaimer, as you know. But look at October. If we go to the column, we can see the behavior it has had year after year. And specifically, we would now be in the year, as you all know, of the halving. Well, the year of the previous halving was 2020, when we had a 27.7% increase. In 2016, we had a 14.71% increase. And in 2013, a 60% increase. But let's be clear. What this chart wants to show is that despite September historically being a negative month, we have had it in the green this year with everything that is happening. And the next 3 months have historically been the best quarter of the year. Let's see what happens this year. We are all also looking forward to the elections in the US on November 5th. If Trump wins, I believe he will have a very positive behavior in the short term. If Kamala wins, it may not be as positive in the short term because she is not as aligned with that pro-Bitcoin legislation discourse in the US. But in the medium term, since it is one of the policies that both will implement, it will ultimately lead to debt expansion and an increase in the deficit, spending what they do not have on pure, infinite and scarce assets like Bitcoin, which will be very beneficial for them. So I think this picture is important to keep in mind for all of you who are positioned. You might have been a bit bored since March of this year when we hit the maximum of 74, so a little bit to base ourselves on history regarding what might be coming. I don't know, Giovanni, what do you think? But I see it as quite beautiful, don't you?
I find it quite interesting to be following up, as you were just mentioning, because it is the best way to start understanding how it works and to take precautions, including each person's financial decisions. That's why, as the disclaimer mentioned, the best way to do these kinds of things is to use the resources we have available in a safe and responsible manner. This is something we pay a lot of attention to because we want it to be a positive experience, and the best way to achieve that is not just to start tinkering little by little, but to try it many times. In fact, we even have the option to make purchases starting from $1. So it's something that allows you to begin to understand it. That said, we have a lot of information which you comment on every month, and honestly, it's amazing, even though sometimes you haven't mentioned, hey, what about the other cryptocurrencies that, in a way, are bouncing, as you say?
Since you are mentioning Giovanny and other cryptocurrencies, it is evident that all of you who are Bit2Mers are closely following what is happening with BM, the native token of the platform, that we launched on November 1st, 2021. Well, it has been almost 3 years since it entered the market, And it is true that it faced 2 years of quite tough bearish market conditions. Last year, and important things also happened for the token last year.
What happened?
All that vesting and all those tokens that were released have already been issued. They are already in the market.
That on one hand,
On the other hand, what we have seen is that over the past year, with the work that the team is doing with Space Center and that points program that enhances your experience within Bit2Me, the token is being given a lot of utilities. Neil was here before the summer telling us a little bit, and he will return. He will come back again with an update, and he will come back and come back. He already shared something that I think is really cool and that you are using a lot, which is providing some stability to the price, because even though there is volatility in the market, it is true that BM is more stable. And just to remind you that you have the option to stake with BM, both flexible and fixed, and that the staking percentages will obviously vary with the price movement. In this case, as we mentioned, for the past 3 to 4 months, it has been more stable. The rates range from 9.41% for flexible staking to 13.55% for 3 months fixed, 15.69% for 6 months fixed, and 18.98% for 1 year fixed. So, well, I think this is important. I believe that there is some very interesting work being done there, Giovanny, and on that front, the Bitumeros you are using, the feedback you are giving us, I think it is working quite well and that you have been asking for it.
correct?
In that same vein, we cannot forget and must remember that we have the Bit2Me Feedback tool, where there are several proposals in line with BM regarding whether you want us to create more utilities. We can do all of that. In fact, our intention is for some of you, the users, to come and defend those proposals live. To say, look, I'm making up some of the proposals that are out there that we could have. More utilities outside of the BME platform. Some of those proposals are there, and we need to take advantage of the opportunity to vote on them and discuss them so the team can take a different assessment in that regard and be more aligned with the community, which is very important for us in order to provide services that are in line with our community.
Well, to all of you who are joining, welcome, especially Pedro, Isi, Jeray, Shadow, and James. Look, James comments, I don't know if you saw the interview I did the other day, Giovanni, with Lionel in English, but then it was translated into Spanish, and dude, it was cool, it was good, right? And he mentions if we are going to talk about Launchpad and TRKX Trakx, all right. Yes, we are going to give you some tips or reminders about how all of this works for those of you who may not know, because sometimes we take for granted, Giovanni, that everyone is familiar with the Launchpad service. Launchpad is a platform within Bit2Me that allows new projects in the cryptocurrency ecosystem to work directly with us. This enables us to filter and study the team behind each project, understand their utilities, objectives, and what the community aims to bring. We can then present first-hand projects that are listed and have a pre-sale phase before entering the market. In the case of this utility token from TRKX, we spoke the other day with its founder Lionel, and he was telling us, if you haven't seen the interview, it's available in English, a little bit about what it consists of.
Yes, Giovanni, we also have the article in the Academy so that you can learn a bit more. On the Launchpad website from Trakx, we also have all the social media channels for you to follow the evolution of this project. We recommend the interview. We have it here, in both English and Spanish. That said, you have until tomorrow, October 1st at 23:59 to reserve your tokens. If you don't have time to participate in the reservation, you can take part in the purchase phase that opens on the 2nd at 12 noon and closes on the 4th at 6 p.m. That said, it is a token at a special price of 0.227 or 27.
So if you are reading this, you haven't learned it.
They are reading that. Yes, sir. The price is true that, hey, if I don't learn it, there are many things left.
Many things. There are cheat sheets.
There are cheat sheets. And they are also being displayed on the screen. That helps.
Anyone who enters the application or the website will see what Giovanni explained, the announcement, with some information about the token, and then the interview we discussed the other day, which is a utility token for using a platform that is connected to or works with different cryptocurrency asset indices. So, well, they are regulated. They have certain thirst. They are aligned with the legislation in France because the project is French. And well, they also have their community in case you are interested, want to participate, or have already reserved the tokens, so you can take a look.
Totally.
Anything else, Giovanni, on this topic?
No, I already read what I had to read. You sound bueno. More topics, in fact, I tell you sorry, because precisely no questions have arisen in that line. It was a small summary, and you have all the information available, including the project's social media. So if you have the opportunity, you can start following up. And any questions, you can talk to us through our official channels on Telegram. We will guide you a bit as well. Well, you are all giving us quite a bit of feedback regarding the Space Center, that loyalty system we have at Bit2Me, which basically improves the conditions and enhances your interaction with any service.
So if you like BME as a platform for buying, selling, exchanging, paying with a card, staking, or whatever, Space Center will provide you with that guide, that scale of points that you need to achieve by unlocking a series of objectives to reach them. So we continue to develop and improve this tool monthly. Well, right now we have made a series of changes, Giovanni. I don't know if you want to share them. If not, I have them too.
The truth is that, in line with the fact that some people found it difficult or did not understand how the BME telealization program worked, one of the advancements made with Space Center, which is the name of the telealization program, is that basically reaching the first level can be achieved with something as simple as $20. By adding funds to your account, you already get 400 points. Trading with $20 in BB also gives you another 400 points, and buying and holding $20 in BCB gives you 200 points.
What does that mean?
These points will give us the opportunity to level up even. Basically, in a few words, interacting with the BB suite and especially being a token holder of BM will help us to earn more and more points. The simple act of putting your cryptocurrencies to work in the BB will earn you some points, as will all the operations you perform. So one of the possibilities you have in this case, one of the great advantages is that the BM points do not expire, okay? The points program has an expiration, but basically it gets updated and renewed as we interact with the suite. So you don't have to literally go on missions and such, right? Simply by normal use and activity on the flip, you will gain those benefits and additional advantages. That was about all I wanted to mention.
No. It's phenomenal. By the way, Jose is sharing the specifications on screen here while Giovanni explains a bit about the objective of why we are making improvements. Well, because a lot of people also say, damn, when someone registers new in BB, it's great that you give us $15 for the purchase of 100, which is a promotion we always do. That's good. So we talk about BB, but of course, once you're in, you say, damn, how are you going to take care of me? This is precisely about taking care not only of you, but also of new users and ensuring that there are a series of sufficiently strong incentives for them to want to use BM. They should think, wow, if I have BM, I can access level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 USAN, which is the highest and offers the best conditions, better percentages, etc. directly. And this will benefit all Bit2Me users, which is what matters.
In fact, along those lines, yes, just a moment. In fact, along that same line, level 1 provides you with the Bit2Me tax report completely free. That is to say, all those facilities of the Telecinco program start through BM and the interaction. Then we have other options, as you mentioned, specifically to improve the API percentages in DNR or in Cadaver.
For those of you who are still watching, you are probably users who have been around a bit longer, having been with Bit2Me longer than some people who just joined. But for those who are entering or just starting to use the platform, just discovering it, what it means, for example, to be a level 1 Space Center, well, it means you have a 1% bonus on all operations you make in the wallet. Then, in Bit2Me Pro, for example, if you like trading, Japanese candles, placing orders and so on, which is also a very interesting service, you have a 0.5% bonus. Then, if you make payments with the card and use the cashback from BM, you get a 0.25% return. And later in the API, many of the coins we have in staking will be improved and you will receive a higher percentage. So I want to say that there are many advantages and many improvements in each of the services you have when you level up.
And reaching level 1 with Giovanni is very simple. It's very simple. And we even have the possibility that one of the missions created is precisely to log in daily and check in with what the entry to the Space Center program says. We will earn points for that. There are 3 blocks: 150 points, 50 points, 300 points, and up to 500 points for logging in daily, without interruptions. This is important. 500 points can mean leveling up for most users, meaning we practically give them the opportunity to level up, which corresponds to the percentages that exist at that moment, which would simply increase by logging in daily. This is a practice that is not mandatory. It's something additional. We also have a dedicated website where you can see how many points you need, what missions you can complete to earn those points, and what advantages it would give you. You can break it down. If you type Space Center BME into Google, it will take you directly to that webpage. And you will see, okay, if I buy this, I will have these instant advantages. And it is constantly improving, precisely as we have just announced, facilitating level 1 later on. That is, through the interaction that takes place with Space Center, with the broadcasting program, and the feedback we are receiving from the proposals that are being made to us, it will continue to improve. In other words, as we said from the beginning of the creation of the broadcasting program, it is alive. Sometimes it may progress a bit slower than we would like as users, but there are still 1,000 other people behind those advancements.
Look, Elvi is greeting. Elvi, how are you? Yesterday we were with Gunter at the Watch Out Bitcoin. Nothing. I just wanted to say hi. Is there a question, Giovanni? I don't know, but Angel Torres says, good morning. If you have already completed 30 days, should you let it pass or do you continue until 60 days to earn more points?
I don't know if you mean that. As I mentioned, it should be done without interruption. Otherwise, if you interrupt it, there is a possibility that one of those blocks will expire. That is to say, since there are blocks of 7 days, 15 days, and 30 days, if you stop for a day, what will happen is that it will reset and you would lose those points initially. However, if you resume the 30 days, you will regain those points again.
Thank you.
That is why it is so important that Giovanni is in the Telegram group addressing all these issues and knows so much about these matters. There are people who have been involved for over 500 days, and there is a proposal out there to take a look at, which suggests that after reaching 365 days, what will happen is to support that type of proposal. It is possible because we have also been told that it is not easy to start taking it, for example, since you have had the experience. Elvira is someone who has also been around for quite a while and says, I take the coffee from the first day. There are many users, and that is something they can apply in their daily lives.
There are also new features that we have added to the platform and you can now find them. Some of you may have seen them, but others may not. Basically, these are improvements to the portfolio. Within the app, you can now see an updated portfolio that will help you track your investments much more closely and concretely in a visual way. It includes graphs, and you can sort it by the different cryptocurrencies you hold. It also organizes the information based on when you bought and the amount you purchased, allowing you to visually see how the prices are changing, and whether your position is in profit or loss, etc.
There are other improvements, Giovanni, that we are making. The evolution has been very positive. The portfolio analysis is precisely to get a general idea, an overview of how it has been operating and how it is progressing. In fact, in the operations of the wallet, for example, when you go to make a withdrawal of cryptocurrencies, it also provides you with the process confirming that it has been done correctly, that it has been issued, and that everything has been completed. All of these improvements have been made thanks to the feedback we have been receiving. I think it is very important for people who are bringing coins from other cryptocurrencies from other exchanges that have also gotten to know us. Perhaps they started working with other platforms, and even though they come from other exchanges, you will also have control over the inflows and outflows, and you will be able to visualize it in a very user-friendly way.
So, on that note, if you have worked with another exchange, keep in mind that when you receive it, you will also be able to visualize it and have it organized, making it much easier for what Giovanni mentioned earlier. Also, for the time we operate with them, whether we make purchases, sales, or use the card, and when we file our tax return next year, having all the BME tax information is also good to have. Right. Correct. Yes, yes, yes.
Don't forget that practically as quickly as monthly we are holding the BM Holder Week, which is the week in which we specifically reward the loyalty of BM holders and hold some raffles and exclusive discounts. In other words, each month we have that week where we conduct some quite interesting raffles. I will check which was the last one we did. If I'm not mistaken, it was $500 in BM, which are quite interesting things. This also facilitates And we even give the possibility to level up in some of the raffles we conduct or participations. And then, not much more. I think we would move on to the new wallets and beyond.
Well, yes, let's ask a question. If possible, Giovanni, I don't know if I can ask it, Jose, or you there in the live chat. For the people who are watching us, how many of you have used the Bit2Me Pro platform?
Why?
Well, because we are also making new improvements and including new technical analysis tools where you have a series of guides and a set of tools that allow you to visualize and analyze the potential behavior of the market with a series of indicators that I believe are also very interesting. So if we put in the chat, from those of you who are currently live, how many of you have used BB Pro? Then if you want to say yes or no, that would be great for us. They are already in the chat and it is progressing quite quickly.
So they are coming. I said it, yes. We already have the possibility that if you want, we can continue with the new features in the wallet and in Pro. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, of course. While we continue to make improvements, we have a new stablecoin. You know that the topic of stablecoins is a bit controversial now due to the MiCA law because we are in a transition period between June and the end of the year for the stablecoins that have been operating in the market in all countries around the world. Well, here in the European Union, starting in January, we need to have stablecoins that comply with the regulations and legislation. So we have just added a new currency that refers to the euro. You should know that you already have it, and it will help you to operate and make exchanges of your cryptocurrencies as well in Bit2Me Pro with that stable brain.
That is important.
Well, I don't know if you here, Giovanni, want to comment on something?
Things, exactly.
Among the listings that have been made, we have also added some meme coins, such as the one for Haster in Leo, or games based on games, and the one for Nero, for example. People have been asking us for it. As they request it, we are adding it. On the 26th, the token of the hashtag combat was listed on the main exchanges, and it is one of the ones I had today. I was just caught off guard because I was looking at a question that was being asked about the previous Launchpad of Laos regarding when it would be listed on BME. Basically, as I mentioned, we also need to follow up on the project. The project directly stated that between the third quarter and the fourth quarter, the listing of that token on the market would begin. So as soon as we have more detailed information, we will communicate it. That said, do not forget to follow up precisely on those official channels of the projects.
Yes, we indeed have the announcement. We are in contact with the listing team. And as Giovanni mentioned, we still do not have the date for this fourth quarter. But as soon as we know it, we will share it with you. Well, to be a bit more specific about these tokens, these coins you mentioned, in Pro, we also have a new token that you had requested, which is Brilliant Crypto. In Earn, you now have the possibility to do staking with Pole for BB Card, which we have already discussed. The stablecoin we have added is a coin linked or pegged to the euro, which also functions throughout as another coin or token in Bit2Me, and it is the token URR. So in that line, sorry, Javi, many of the questions that have arisen are about how you can anchor it, link it to the BB card, okay?
What is happening? Many people tell me they don't see it. If they don't have that token in they won't be able to link it directly to the card. That's correct, because some users have experienced exactly that. They say, I don't see it, I can't link it. But it's precisely because they don't have a balance, because they haven't purchased that token or brought in that stablecoin. Sorry.
And then, to add the topic of deposits and withdrawals with two coins, with Solo and Sui, which is becoming one of the most popular due to its performance, which has been quite good with strong increases, and now you have the option to deposit or withdraw it from BME. Well, this would be a bit about the new coins. As always, I want to remind you that if you want to stay updated on which new coins you have in the app, a little icon, a red dot, lights up in the wallet or in the coin listing, and there you can find the latest additions that you have been asking for. Okay.
That said, finally in the notification center, the bell icon when we click on it has 3 sections: System, Alerts, and News. In the news section, precisely that type of information appears. We have listed this. We have the Tuesday updates. In fact, thank you very much for the support with the Tuesday updates, which has not been easy. Every Tuesday has some updates, but we were there fulfilling the team's responsibilities. And nothing. Thank you for the support. Go ahead.
A lot of people have used Bit2Me Pro. We have 70% who have and 30% who have not. Well, if you enter BB Pro, you will see that there are new interesting analysis tools, and all these pairs we are discussing are also available, in case you want to take a look. And well, if you want, Giovanni, let's move on to the part about events and communication that we've had this month, which has made it a hectic month. It has been crazy.
That's why I said it had been an active pause, because regarding the vacations, some have been able to go, and in fact, it's a good thing that he has returned. I don't know if there has also been something with the private keys in the sea during the private classes or on this occasion.
What does Giovanni say? Something free. Right? Well, the topic of international expansion is super important. Right now, we are just about ready because the CNV of Argentina, this was also a highly publicized news, has already granted us the license to operate in that country, which was one of the limitations or requirements we had to start working with our friends in Argentina without any setbacks.
Correct.
Of course, this marks a turning point in how BME has also operated in other countries, because before, as everything is being organized in Europe, in the US, in Asia, as well as evidently in Latin America, it is very, very important to do things right at this moment. In Argentina, the truth is that they have made it much easier for us to enter. The way they are working there right now and the approach they have is much more friendly towards Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. You already know that Bukele and Millet met recently. I don't know if to say, hey, let's start using Bitcoin, which would be wonderful, but we are landing there. So Jose Luis was already there. Correct. Pablo Casadillo was also there doing some opening work. The team has prepared the platform so that an Argentine person can use BME, the card, and make purchases without any additional cost, which was the problem we had before. And why is this important for you and for the community? Well, because right now the community is very focused here in Spain, but there are many friends from Spanish-speaking countries who are very eager to start using Bit2Me. So this is fundamental news, very important, and we expect very soon. I believe that for this last quarter of the year, Giovanni will be the starting signal for Bit2Me in Argentina officially.
In that line, we were precisely preparing a challenge called the Challenge of Living in Crypto with Bit2Me in Argentina. In fact, we even have an exclusive giveaway for those residing in Argentina. Take a look, and if you have any questions, you can ask in the Telegram channel, and we will redirect you to that exclusive group for Bit2Me Argentina. The Argentine community is doing some very interesting things there. Soon, part of the team will return to Argentina for some events. We will also discuss the in-person events. And it is even planned that at some point we will have the opportunity to share with the community. Additionally, part of the team is generating what will be the community ambassadors of BM in Argentina.
So thank you for the support. And the truth is that it has been quite interesting. A lot of work over there, hoping to be able to work with you all. And well, that Bit2Me becomes a useful tool for all our friends as well. Are you over there?
Look, we just received a message here that they have just released the advertising spot for Aya Tukuria, the UFC World Champion. So you can take a look at it later. It's quite interesting.
We held a raffle. I don't know if any of those watching won the trip to see that fight that was planned. But well, the truth is we are very happy with Ilya, the world champion, and he is an ambassador. Well, very important for us as well. Look, Giovanni, the topic of Argentina that we have discussed is one side of the world, but we have also been in Asia. The Cosmin team, including Abel and Andre, has been looking for local partnerships in different countries. In South Korea, they have also been in Japan, and they have been in Singapore. So we are also expanding in that direction. In fact, co-closed a deal in the United Arab Emirates with Fuse, which is a local company in these countries, to start working in dirhams. This means we are also expanding, well, with the partners that BME currently has, such as Unicaja and, as you know, Telefonica. All of this is being enhanced and developed on a much larger scale. And I believe we are at a moment marked by the starting gun of the boot run. Additionally, in Asia, something very important is happening. There are numerous projects and many tokens to list.
So, well, we have been told that in the coming months, we will continue to see interesting opportunities for the Launchpad, for this service we have within BB. Javi, something super important that you referred to regarding the Ilha Tupuria raffle, 2009 is still ongoing. And every week they receive an email with the entries, with the number of entries they have, okay? They even have until October 13th to participate, so it will be important. I will now share the link in the group, or rather in the chat, so that you know you can still continue participating. And that's it. We have the shares included in the wallet. In Pro, there is quite a bit of data, meaning that we should take advantage of that to be able to participate. If you are a BB customer, your first purchase of $50 or more in BME will give you 4 shares. Or 2 if you buy $50 or more in any other cryptocurrency. If you are already a customer or make additional purchases of $50 or more on BME, you will receive 2 entries. 1 entry for every $50 you spend on any other cryptocurrency. Then there are some quite clear examples. Therefore so that you are informed and can continue participating.
Correct. And then we were at one of the most important events of the year in Spain, organized by Javier Molina at El Confidencial. To give you an idea, there were companies sponsoring such as Telefónica, CK Bank, US, BME, Alastria, AIG, and Metro Vasesa. Well, we had a panel where our colleague Javier was also giving a talk about Bit2Me's participation in the sandbox created by the CNMV for the tokenization of traditional assets, and that development, that vertical we are working on, is being led by Javier Tordable. He has been here on the channel, or we have done some interviews with him coinciding with the halving, in case you want to know who he is. But also, social media is important to convey this to you, that there is a vertical called STX in BB that we are sharing in forums of this type. Well, it was there. The opening was done by the supervisors of the CNMV. There were people from the Bank of Spain, people from Telefónica, from very powerful companies in the banking sector and tokenization. And there was Javier explaining a little about what it consists of and how we are developing and working here. Our colleagues from Deca Labs are also helping a lot with the integration, which, as you know, is part of the Bit2Me team. And it was a huge success. There were a lot of people gathered there. It was packed to the brim, and it was very, very interesting. It was 10 or 15 days ago in the center of Madrid, 2009. In fact, just a moment ago, the photographs of the event were shown, which, as you said, was completely full. And then, Giovanni, well, something that you and I really like, and Jose Luis too, is the part about spreading the word on Bitcoin and sharing, in this case, with some very good Argentine friends, Ariel and Daniel, from the Bitcoineta van 2009, who are traveling around Europe and passed through Madrid. Well, the European University opened its doors for us, Asaf, Marilo, to hold another talk about how many people were there. Giovanni, how many people were there?
In fact, there will possibly be a photo showing that there were more than 100 people at one point. Look, it was packed, literally. People standing, people who were left outside, and they were watching us live in the Acobendas field. That is to say, it was at the Villavicchio campus, Jadon, Usand, but it was full. In fact, people interacted quite a bit. The message was very important in this case because it referred to the significance of money. It's typical that we often talk about receiving euros, spending euros, and considering our currency the best, while forgetting all the alternatives we have to make the most of the resources available to us, such as in the case of Bit2Me.
Look, I always believe that we have to remember that Bit2Me, one of the pillars on which it is based and born, is education, it is training. And we carry it as our banner. Whenever there is a university, a study center, an institute, a company, a bank, anyone who wants to learn about this technology, Giovanni, the BME Academy, the Webmaster, 3, all the courses that are available for free, there is practically a huge amount of content. You have hours and hours of dissemination there. It's amazing. And well, we always appreciate doing this kind of collaboration with universities. And hey, Jose Luis, there's Yusan working there too, and you're always on the front lines. I mean, hey, and he's with us. We have a guest man who's holding on there. I can see him or with a gentleman. We have provided all the bitumen content for the month, and there is Kuro. I don't know if we can see him on screen yet, but just in case, Jose, can we bring him up? We have him here. Hey, Kuro. Kuro Quevedo. Kuro Quevedo, good afternoon. How are you?
How are you? Good afternoon.
Well, hey, I'm glad you could join us today. We're very happy, to be honest. You know, I think you're one of the few people, man, in this ecosystem that I've met in person before, virtually, right? Now it's often said, I've unvirtualized you. Damn, well, I met you in person and you have also helped us a lot. In all the events and with a lot of material, Giovanny knows that too.
We have always had a great time. It's amazing with you, honestly. Kuro, thank you for that support because you are enthusiastic in every aspect, both in terms of technology and how you share information with the rest of the people. And thank you, really.
Tell us a little about yourself for those who don't know you. Share a bit about your background, what you do, and your relationship with Bitcoin and the world of cryptocurrencies.
Well, the truth is that we come from the mobile phone sector. And believe it or not, it is not very unrelated. Because many years ago, when devices were locked, systems were used to break that encryption. We used systems based on ASIC to calculate hashes in order to extract security codes from locked devices. And this started for me around the year 2013 or 2014. So, of course, we have tools to unlock phones. And there came a moment when we started talking about something called Bitcoin, like, is this a digital currency? So, of course, we love a digital currency, and on top of that, it is decentralized and everyone has access, and you don't need a third party. It was like, well, we love this. So we started to discover the world of mining, and that it was much more profitable to mine Bitcoin than to unlock phones. So we started to change the sector. We began mining, and we started studying about crypto, and we fell in love. I believe that in the end, you fall in love when something emerges, a new technology that is accessible to everyone and is not manipulated or as dirty as what we experience today, which has no value because it is completely adulterated. So we started to push it, and we began to believe in it, and we started to use it as a tool. That's how I understand it today, as a tool that can go up or down, but is being used more and more. More and more people need it, and it keeps growing and growing and doesn't stop growing. It may be that, the price goes up or down, but the adoption is increasing. There are more and more wallets, more and more coins, and more people who need it for their daily lives. So this is something that, for example, captivates me. I am not changing anymore. This is how I am going in this guide, and this is how I will finish. I don't know what will happen in the future, but I am clear about the present.
That's great. That's great work. Wow. Look, I'm going to take the opportunity because a lot of people you meet in the ecosystem, maybe people who are watching us say, hey, is mining still profitable? Should I get into it? How can I get into it? You, who have had an experience there since a rather early moment, how do you see the issue of mining? In simple terms, for someone who might say, hey, I'll buy a machine, set it up in my house, and want to experiment with this to see how it works. What would you say to them based on your experience?
I believe that as of today, it is not profitable, right? But it is profitable to learn, it is profitable to understand, and it is profitable to research. So having a Bitcoin node is profitable, even if it may not generate returns. For you, because you can have a node in the network, and that can generate profitability. You can mine other coins that may not be profitable today, but hey, their price might skyrocket and become profitable. Is it clear that since we don't know what will happen in the future, it's like today almost many horses are winners, right? It's true. And I am also like Javier, pro-Bitcoin, and I believe that Bitcoin is a bit like the mother of all and is the one that guides. It's like gold, and hey, there may be precious materials and other safe havens, but gold, to this day in the history of 2009, has proven to be good, the most, let's say, the safest. And I believe that mining is something I recommend to everyone, especially to understand and grasp a bit of how it works. It may not be profitable, but you will realize and better understand the system. And it is true that there are people here who defend that there should be mining and staking. I think it is very interesting. Perhaps the issue of mining has become very centralized, and that is a bit what has generated, well, that there are people who do not support it as much because it is centralized, sometimes due to the Chinese who have a lot of power in terms of computing and such, and they have many mining farms. But it is true that for a while, there has been a lot of freedom and many people have mined why, and it has been interesting. And also, as the difficulty changes, it changes in real time. Maybe after some time, it will be looked at very little and will be very profitable. Algorithms can change, and there may be an opportunity for other people.
Kuro, look, you already have a question here from Javier Cuerva. He asks, Kuro, have you sold Bitcoin since you started mining?
Yes, unfortunately, we have sold, and I know people who haven't sold. The cheapest I have seen Bitcoin was at $300 and Ethereum at $1, but I never did. Maybe when it was imagined at $350 or $600, I would have sold like crazy, It was like I was going to sell. And especially because you understood it, it was a way to comprehend how it works. Right now, I don't sell anything, It's like I try to hold on to it. I even try to generate businesses that can pay me with Bitcoin so that I can stay sustainable in some way.
In that regard, I link it as usual. You don't have to sell them,
We have, for example, loan services like Billboard that is with cryptocurrency collateral. You put the little crib in there, man. Listen, it's just amazing. The amount of products you have is incredible. Sometimes it happens that the products are so good that people can't believe it. They need to try them. They don't know about them, but they really generate profitability in a secure way. So it's like we are used to banks hitting us and always stealing from us, and no one gives you anything. When someone offers you something without taking anything from you, it can be a bit scary at first. So I always recommend people to try with a little, So you see, and in the end, you have control over it, Javier, And Giovanny, thanks to the crypto world, you can have many tools to control these tokens. You can buy them on BB, but then you can take them out, and then you can put them back in, and then you can, decide with your funds, with your coins, decide whatever you want. And that is what increasingly holds more value for me, that absolute freedom.
In fact, that aligns with what we were discussing earlier, that we are very libertarian about Bitcoin. Decentralization, obviously, for obvious reasons, in order to operate. With the company, we have to do things in a completely legal and regulatory manner. But it doesn't have to be self-custody either. Let's say it's not for everyone, and it doesn't have to be black and white. On this occasion, for example, as Kuro mentioned, you can, for instance, buy in Bitcoin, take it to self-custody, and then when you want to use it again, you can bring it back, and you already have that source of funds. You can use it again for the house, for the apartment, or whatever, or for a loan, as we are also referring to. In other words, it doesn't have to be one thing or the other. And the truth is that for many users, as we discussed, who participated in the event with you at the first community point of BB, in collaboration with Super Pioneers and with you through So Arcade, that was precisely it. It is a gateway, a bridge of solutions, of possibilities, and even a doorway to have a positive experience. Because unfortunately, in this industry, many people's first experience has not been positive because they have been deceived or scammed. Well, here you have the opportunity to start from scratch with people who are willing to support you, just like we did, with real practices in your space, specifically interacting with cryptocurrencies, receiving and paying directly with the BB virtual card in a matter of seconds. And I would like you to move on to that topic of explaining how you felt and the feedback you received at that moment.
The truth is that we had a great time. And I have to highlight that the crypto community is a special community. We are people with a very similar mindset. So it's a pleasure to meet these individuals and talk to them, right? I really loved it. We had a great time. We were playing because it is also a leisure space, as it is an arcade room where we enjoy these machines we have, these typical recreational video game machines. But the most important thing is this community and the bond you create with other human beings. And what's great here is mixing this online part with this physical part where we don't wear masks. People get to know each other. And what's cool about BB is that you really get to know real people, not fictional companies and fictional people. So in the end, you know where you're putting your deposits. And when you meet those people who work at BB and they generate that trust in you and you can talk to them in a super open way, I believe it was a success that needs to be repeated and that the community is growing every day. Is it greater? And because above all, Yusan, we have good values of helping each other. Understanding things, we are like super supportive. We understand the problems that one has, you know, the recommendations, right? I really like that. I like it a lot.
In fact, it needs to be repeated. Go ahead, Javi.
No, exactly. In fact, maybe we should always discuss a little about the events we are attending every month. And the people who watch us say, wow, I would like to meet you in person and coincide at some event. Now there are two events. One that is going to be next week, which is an important event. The merch, right? I believe it is from the 6th to the 8th, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? From the 8th to the 10th. Sorry.
From the 8th to the 10th, here in Madrid, indeed, in the one you are participating in?
Yes.
You are going to be there. Well, this event at Cibeles is going to be a very interesting space. Leading companies from the industry will attend, and there will be people who already have USAND, with an important track record in this ecosystem. It would be great if any of you want to pass along this information so you can also discuss it with us, and we can see if we can provide you with some special entry or some kind of coupon or something like that. And then on the other hand, on the 24th, which you mentioned earlier, hey Javi, on October 24th, we are going to do something special in the afternoon. If you want, we can take the opportunity to share it with the people as well.
Correct. As you said, we need to repeat what we did with Kuro. And indeed, we are going to repeat it because we have been asked to. We will hold that mini gathering again to do real practice. We are going to do it on October 24th from 8 p.m. to approximately 9:30. We have several real practices in which we are going to precisely exchange cryptocurrencies, receive ViewKim, pay with the BB card, with MasterCard, the virtual one, and even resolve many doubts and concerns that we had at that time. There were people who, for example, did not know that they could use the Eurotheater they had directly linked to the card. In other words, while their Eurotheater were working, they could use them instantly with the card, and there were people who were unaware of this possibility, or even had some rather curious concerns.
I imagine it's a machine, right?
And what you mentioned for the event, we have the Mercedes event, and we have precisely pinned in the Telegram channel the options for requesting a ticket to see if anyone from the USEN community can attend.
Well, very well. I don't know if you have a message, an idea, or something you want to share with us. We also love that you have joined us this afternoon. But is there any issue you would like to share directly with the BME community?
The truth is that the pleasure is mine. I believe that the most important thing is training and trying to understand, comprehend, and utilize companies like BME, which are trustworthy companies that you can ask questions to and that generate this trust. Because in the crypto world, trust is key. And I always suggest to people that they should initially be skeptical of these businesses that offer high returns. They should consult. And thanks to this community, we are communities that help each other a lot. It is very easy to ask questions and avoid falling into the frauds that exist. I believe that what is important for that is training and the community. I believe that BB is doing really well there. A very strong community and some amazing free training plans through their academy.
We are definitely going to hire the donkey.
We have all suffered. I believe that here, everyone has been scammed in one way or another, some worse than others.
Correct.
And when you get scammed, what you want is for other people to avoid those problems. But it happens like everything else. It's not just that you get scammed. With euros, you get scammed with counterfeit bills. You get scammed with certain businesses. And ultimately, nowadays, there are countless scams, including online phishing. Our bank accounts can be scammed. And in the crypto space, there are also scams, and it will continue to be that way. The only thing to do is to learn a bit and reduce the impact of scams and fraud, as I was referring to specifically with education and being alert when there are talks of somewhat absurd returns, to put it one way. So we need to be cautious about that.
Well, I want to remind you of the dates from the 8th to the 10th of the month, when Kuro will also be there with all of us. So on the 24th Thursday afternoon, didn't we say at 7? Starting at 7 p.m.?
From 8 to 9:30 and from 8 to 9:30 a.m. at the link. The link contains the information to request the entry.
In fact, we have a route to walk, and we have already defined the place. In other words, it will be the same as last time.
Yes, the same one as last time, correct?
You send okay?
Well, yes. It is no less important to remember that the raffle for the Gia to Korea fight is still ongoing. Okay? They have until October 13th. Agreed. And each week they will receive the entries.
Well, hey, we should start wrapping up because we usually take about an hour. But is there something you want to share about your activities or anything you're doing that you want people to know? So that when they see you at the merch or at the event on the 24th, they can say, hey, tell me a little more about this. I don't know if you want to. Go ahead.
Yes, nothing. Right now, for example, we are working on a joint project with Bit2Me, which involves using your e-commerce to integrate companies that might have some software for an event point or something like that so well to make a super integrated integration into their system. So we have launched a solution called 981 Block, which integrates your solution with other solutions into a specific software that they can use. So we are making a small adaptation with Yusen, an integration with you, and we are working hand in hand. The truth is that we have a lot of businesses, especially right now in Ibiza, that already accept payments with cryptocurrencies. And every day we receive cryptocurrency payments in a super secure and fast way. And there it is. We are trying to take this to the streets, which is what is needed, the adoption.
Total adoption means that it's one thing for BlackRock to accumulate everything and another for us to use it in street commerce, which is also very good and is the original goal of this entire movement. It needs to be utilized.
That's right. Well, we will see each other in Madrid, and all of us who have the opportunity at these events in which we are going to participate, both the Community Points event and the BB event, where we will also explain how they can be part of the community in Community Point, because that is practically, among other things, precisely about bringing the community to those businesses that have a trade, a company, it could be a photography store, etc., to have those integration points to resolve doubts, and even to bring users to get to know, for example, the Sorcade, which we have enjoyed very much. Necessary integration between 80s games and the ability to learn about the crypto world.
Well, I believe there is no better way to wrap this up than with that, and with a like for Kuro, Giovanny, and Jose, who have been in charge of the program until today. And hey, I want to thank all of you who are joining us live again. It's truly a pleasure. We hope to see you at these events in person, so we can also shake hands and give a hug. And hey, Kuro, Giovanny, it was a pleasure to have shared this moment. Thank you, and see you very soon. So without further ado, thank you very much, Bit2Meros, and we'll see you next month with all the updates. A hug to everyone. Bye, bye, bye.